Welcome to Basic and Bookish Podcast, the perfect place to crash out over our favorite books and connect with readers just like you. I'm Kinsey.
And I'm Karly. Today is all about my final attempt to read through the Throne of Glass series. So if you are on the fence about reading Throne of Glass, or if you, like me, have DNF'd it and are wondering...
Paused it.
Kinsey is very insistent that I've only paused this series, but I have definitely DNF'd it multiple times. So... if you have also DNF'd it and are wondering if you should try to read the series, this episode is for you. And don't worry, this episode is completely free of any spoilers for Throne of Glass.
Due to the nature of these books, this podcast is rated R in content and language. If you'd like to skip the ads and have access to full video formats, it's available now on Patreon. That link can also be found in our show notes. And I'm sure I am bound to make some sort of funny face in this episode, so you'll probably will want to watch it.
Funny faces also don't count as spoilers. Interpret those as you may.
Yes.
All right, now prepare to join the chaos, because honestly, we blame the ADHD.
Let's start off with how many times you have paused Throne of Glass and why you DNF'd it.
Okay, so I first picked it up.
Don't hurt my feelings, though.
Because of another podcast, incidentally. So, and it wasn't even a book podcast. It was like a makeup podcast, I want to say.
Oh, interesting.
And the girl was just like reading Throne of Glass and was talking about it. I was like, oh, I'm going to give that a try because I needed a book. And I got about halfway through.
The book. Not the series.
Just the book. Halfway through the first Throne of Glass book and quit it.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I joined Bookstagram and everybody was talking about it. And I was like, oh, I should give that another try because I owned it. Like, I had bought it. So I read the whole thing, never went back to the series because I was just like, whatever.
You read the whole thing or you only read half of it?
So the second read, I finished the Throne of Glass book. I finished book 1.
Okay.
So
but you still started with Throne of Glass instead of the Assassin's Blade?
Yes.
Oh, see, if I were there... I would have told you, well, if you weren't vibing with it halfway through, you should just switch to the Assassin's Blade.
Yeah.
I can't believe people encouraged you to read it first again.
Yeah. See, I didn't have you. I needed that advice. And so I read Throne of Glass, which is technically like book 1 in publication order. So whenever I say book 1, I do mean Throne of Glass. I don't mean Assassin's Blade. I think some people call that book 0.5.
Yeah, it's like 0.1 to 0.5 because there's 5 novellas.
It's very confusing. So, but for Throne of Glass, the first book, and when I say Throne of Glass, I mean the book, not the series. I DNF'd it halfway through once, then read the whole thing, and then did not continue the series. So at that point, I had like considered myself as DNFing the series. And then I was just on Bookstagram so long. And I was watching your content of you reading it, and I was like, I've gotta finally pick up this series again. So I started reading the series again, and I got all the way through book 4, which is Heir of Fire. So I read Throne of Glass. Is it Crown of Midnight?
The Assassin's Blade.
Yes,
but you technically didn't finish Heir of Fire. You did get more than halfway through. You got really close to the end. My
library hold took it back before I finished it. But I want to say I only had like 2 chapters left.
It was more than that because I know the exact spot that you got stopped. But yeah, it was hold. And so that's why I say, well, she paused it.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we were actually reading, we were doing a lot of buddy reads and we were like in the depths of Onyx Storm and rereading that a million times and talking about that with each other. And so I was like, okay, you didn't have the time. Like, it got really busy. Because, like, for me, I actually haven't finished the Bridge Kingdom series, but I loved the Bridge Kingdom.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm not like, well, I DNF'd it because I stopped at book 3. I just haven't had the time, and there have been other books I've prioritized over finishing the series. That's what I tell myself about Karly. But I know you have your reasons, though.
So I guess I feel like with Bridge Kingdom, I have like a big desire to go back and read those books because of the story. I feel like my desire to finish Throne of Glass is more about the fandom than anything else. But listen, I DNF'd these books, I think for what was valid reasons, but not necessarily the book's fault, if that makes sense. The first time I started reading these, both the first and second time, I did not know that these books were YA. And I think people need to know that the first books in the series are considered YA. I thought they were new adult. And when I was reading it, so it's like, it doesn't fit like what your expectation is of the book. And
not only that, Sarah J. Maas was literally 16 when she wrote these. So a lot of people oftentimes read ACOTAR first when her writing's a bit more mature. I mean, it is new adult, but also she's improved as an author as well. And then they read Throne of Glass expecting it to be the exact same thing. And it's definitely not. So like you have to go into it knowing it's her very first writing.
Yeah. And I think any author's first book is typically most authors not their strongest book. Now, that's not always true, but most authors get stronger as they write. And that's just part of building your craft and getting good at anything. I mean, most people get better at things over time. That's a completely fair assumption to think about anybody's work, anybody's hobby or passion, that they're going to get better over time.
Exactly.
And I think setting expectations is so important when reading a book. I love reading a book blind, but generally I at least know what genre it's in and like whether it's YA or new adult or whatever. And so I went into this book not fully understanding its category, which misaligned my expectations for the book. And that's not fair to the book. So I definitely think when I started reading it the third time, when you were reading it and you were loving it so much, that I was like, I really got to give this another try. Understanding that it's YA makes such a big difference in the reading experience. Remembering that the main character is only 19 is also really helpful, because for whatever reason, when I read it the first two times, it was not clicking that she was 19. I thought she was like 23 or something.
She's actually 16 in The Assassin's Blade, and I want to say she's 18 in Throne of Glass, and then turns 19.
I think they say she's 19 in it.
Maybe she is 19. I'm like literally rereading it right now. I'm on like book 3, and I'm like, yeah, she's 19 now, but she's very young.
She's very young, and
you know what? She is 19. You're totally right, because her age gap with another character is exactly the same age gap I have with my husband. And I remember thinking to myself, I was 19. Yeah. And so, yeah.
So I think a lot of people DNF a book because their expectations are set incorrectly for the book. And I had to reset my expectations. And I think sometimes your brain needs a little time to do that sometimes. So that's why I DNF'd it. And that's how many times I've DNF'd/paused it. I mean, 2 of those times were a pretty hard DNF. The third time was more of
the third time was a pause.
The third time was more of a really long pause, but I wasn't feeling necessarily the strongest draw to go back to it. But I definitely feel more excited to read it now. I definitely think my headspace for reading a book about like war, essentially, a war-like situation, I'm in a better headspace, I think, for that, just in general, to read a long series about it, because it's not just a couple books, it's 8 books. But I know you love Throne of Glass so much. So what would you say to a reader who is hesitant to start an 8-book series, or for the readers who've already DNF'd after book 1 or 2 or maybe 4, whatever, if you wanted to convince them to give it a try and read along with us?
Well, obviously reading is subjective. So what I think is the best book series to exist, other people definitely disagree with. And I see this all the time, and I know what I'm about to say is kind of the opposite of what I'm doing to you, Karly. But if people do not have a good time by like the end of Verify, because you didn't finish, so that doesn't count, or even Queen of Shadows, at that point I would say just stop, because it almost is worse to have somebody continuing to read it just to like get through it and they don't like it. But I promise you, it's setting up such a great journey, and every single person, well, I guess I can't say every single person because some people just apparently get through it. That's very rare. That's in the minority, but majority of the people who have read it do say it's the best book they've ever read. They think about it every day. I think about it every day. Nothing has like ever hit the same for me. There are so many different characters too. So this is actually a really good plus is it's multi-POV. And maybe in the first book, you're not vibing with some of the point of views or those characters. But as the series progresses, we get more point of views. You're introduced to more characters. Even in the very last book, we're continuing to still meet new characters. So I think that's really great. There's literally someone for everyone. Like even the MMCs, people have different book boyfriends, and no one's upset with who you choose as your book boyfriend. There's just so many options. And the FMCs too. Like, oh gosh, there's just so many baddies. But anyway, it's just a really great journey. And there's little Easter eggs. There's like little details that maybe readers think aren't necessary. And later you realize, oh, actually every little detail is important. But if you're hesitant to start, I'll say give it a try. You should listen to our season 2, episode 1 episode where we explain the Maas verse. So there's different reading orders. I am not a person who's going to tell you, you have to start with Throne of Glass or you have to start with the Assassin's Blade. I think that to have the best experience for yourself, you know what you prefer, and there are different options for you. So I do go over that in that episode. I won't go over it now, but definitely listen to that as advice on how to start. And also remember, you know, some people say, well, I shouldn't have to get so far into a book to like it. And I do agree with that too. For me, I was hooked right away. But also, if people give ACOTAR a chance and they wait until a certain point in A Court of Mist and Fury to love it, and most people do, if you were to physically put those books up next to each other, by Air of Fire, it's the exact same amount as A Court of Mist and Fury. So you're literally giving yourself the same amount of time.
That's true.
And a lot of people aren't realizing that, I guess. And it's the same author, so it's the same pacing of her series. So you just kind of have to keep that in mind, I suppose. But if you have DNF'd before, my biggest advice is if you started with one reading order, potentially switch to the next. If you're still struggling with it, then that's okay. It's maybe just not for you, but it does get so much better. Every single book, I was just like, oh my God, this one's better, and this one's better, and this one's better. And now I'm scarred for life.
I will say, I do remember when I was reading it in, I think it was 2024 that I was doing my read through where I actually got almost to the end of book 4.
Yeah.
And I do remember thinking each book did get progressively better. And so I really agree with that advice, though. I really wish I would have had somebody when I was not vibing with Throne of Glass book 1, that I would have had somebody tell me, just read Assassin's Blade. Go read that book and then come back. Because I think that would have been the advice I needed to really get me into this series more quickly. So I think that's really, really good advice, is just go, if you were reading Throne of Glass and not having a great time, go read Assassin's Blade and see if it hooks you more, because I feel like Assassin's Blade at the time, I really enjoyed actually reading Assassin's Blade. So
yeah, I've had so many friends who started with the Assassin's Blade and then switched and vice versa, and it works. So just do that. If that's what your hurdle is, it doesn't hurt. No one's going to come policing your home and say, oh, you can't switch books partway through because you're not enjoying it. No, like there's literally different reading orders for a reason. So you can do whatever the heck you want, but I wouldn't force it.
Okay.
You know, but it's so great if you do. Karly has no choice, but that's because if you like interconnected series and universes, then it's really cool. And if you are a really big fan of ACOTAR, and if you've also read Crescent City, majority of the Easter eggs and crossovers actually come from Throne of Glass. So that's really exciting. And so if you're excited for ACOTAR 6, I would also highly recommend reading Throne of Glass, because you'll catch a lot of little interesting moments where you're like, that's connected in the universe.
Yeah.
So, Karly, what made you change your mind about reading Throne of Glass again?
For the fourth time. Mostly, here's the thing. I'm not a person who enjoys hating on things. I think some people kind of like being opposed to like the popular thing, whatever that may be. And I don't enjoy disliking things, though. I actually really like liking things. I think that's just more fun. My brain tends to look towards the positive of things. And I think, one, my brain just needed to be in a different reading space when I read this series. And two, I think the biggest thing is just having someone in your life like you that just makes it sound like such a fun adventure. Because when you talk about it, it sounds like reading the book feels like its own adventure.
It is.
Like, not just reading the story, but the actual like experience of reading the story feels like its own adventure, and that the book sounds really adventurous. And I love adventurous books. So I really just want to like give it a fourth and final shot and read it through and see what all the hype is about. So, if there's other people out there who are like listening to this, I really wanted to make this episode for people like me who are like, either 8 books is just too much, I can't do that. Or, I tried to read it, couldn't get into it and quit it because I feel like I was both of those people at different times. And if you've been hesitant and you've been thinking about reading it and you're just not sure, come read along. Read along. You can read along, listen to the podcast episodes. You can read along, come hang out with us over on the Discord and chat about it. I'll be talking about my experience over it on the Discord. We have the Patreon. We have book club. We have all different ways you can come connect with other people who are also like reading this and getting through it. So come read this book with me. I experience it.
I am so excited to get your initial reactions for the endings of some of these books. But you're so right about how just being in a different time of your life, it can mean different things for you. Because I remember going on Facebook of all websites, and I haven't used Facebook in years. I went online, and apparently, gosh, I want to say back in like 2015 or 2016, I had posted asking people for book recommendations, and a lot of people were recommending Throne of Glass. And when I saw this, I was kicking myself. I was like, oh my goodness, like I could have had the out of print versions. It would have been so inexpensive. I could have read this sooner. But my friend told me, Kinsey, you needed to read Throne of Glass at this point in your life, and it probably wouldn't have affected you in the same way. And that's totally true, because who I was as a person at that time, I've been through so many life changes that I genuinely don't think it would have affected me the same way. And now there are certain quotes or characters that I can't even think about without crying. Just today, I was rereading The Assassin's Blade, which we're reading third, and just one quote was said, and it's not even a sad quote, and I already started crying. It just gets you, but I love that there's just so many good themes, and like just like overcoming hardships is one of them, and kindness, and just small acts of kindness can change the world, and I just love the messaging.
Yeah,
it's just so good.
That is great. And I think like those conversations have been the things that make me really want to give this another read. And I just like, I also just like want to be part of the hype and the fandom and things like that. Like I feel left out.
I'm so excited to talk theories with you once you finally get there. I want to see it affect you the way that it affects me. I know like you're not going to be as traumatized. Like, you're not going to cry over 100 times reading Kingdom of Ash, but I do want to see you potentially get emotional.
Okay. I'm sure I'll cry at something.
I know you will.
All right. I know we've already brought up our episode 1 of season 2 where we talked about the Maasverse, but just to remind readers, if they either have listened to that episode but maybe forgot, or if they just haven't listened to that episode, can you remind everybody whether or not they need to read Throne of Glass to understand ACOTAR 6 and like what your advice is on that as a Maasverse expert?
I do not think you need to read Throne of Glass before ACOTAR 6. I do think you need to read Crescent City before ACOTAR 6. And in my professional opinion, the best way to read Crescent City to get the full experience is by reading Throne of Glass first. So I guess like technically full circle, then you'd say, yeah, you need it. If you're short on time, you can read Throne of Glass later. You're just going to miss super incredibly exciting Easter eggs in Crescent City. Once you read Throne of Glass, then you'll be like, oh my God, I get the connection. And then you'll get really excited about it. But technically, I mean, obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's inside ACOTAR 6. But I would bet money on the fact that you have to read Crescent City before ACOTAR 6. So it's just like a preference. Yeah, like I'm telling you, we just finished covering ACOTAR. We reread the whole series, and I had the most challenging time not sharing all of my theories because a lot of them revolve around Throne of Glass and Crescent City.
Yeah.
They're all connected. I promise they're all connected, but you don't have to read it. It just adds to the experience. So if you're someone that likes Easter eggs, then yeah, go for it.
Perfect. What a perfect place to leave it.
Yeah.
All right. This is where we leave you today, Basic Book Besties. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave us a review and join us next week.
If you need more bookish content, we have 4 ongoing seasons. You're currently listening to our Season 1 Book Bestie Chats featuring spice ratings, our thoughts on recent adaptations, discussions on our current reads, and more. We also have a crash course season for the Maasverse, Fourth Wing deep dive topics, and fun author interviews. Our Maasverse Season 2 content releases weekly on Thursdays, while our other seasons release episodes sporadically on Tuesdays.
You can check out our website, basicandbookishpod.com, for info about our contact form, upcoming seasons, which authors we have scheduled next, events we're attending, and more. We've linked that down in the show notes.
You can join us over on Patreon, where you can access all of our episodes ad-free, 3 days early, and in full video, plus extras like exclusive book club access, with our next quarterly book club being in September, shoutouts on the show, PDF annotations, and more. You'll find our Patreon link in the show notes, along with all the ways you can support the podcast.
Don't forget to stay in the loop by following us on social media at Basic and Bookish Pod, and join us in our Discord chat. Who knows, you might just meet your next book bestie there, and I will definitely be there through my Throne of Glass reading journey. So come join. And
if you're reading for the first time, please, for the love of God, send me reactions.
Yes, Kinsey wants them.
I love watching video reactions, text reactions. Like, I'm on threads. They always come to me, the threads where they're like, I'm reading Throne of Glass for the first time. This is what I think is going to happen next. And I eat it up. I wish I would sell my soul to read it again for the first time. So please send me your initial reactions if you're reading for the first time. But until next time, reach out on Discord to let us know if you have already read Throne of Glass or if you will be reading it with us. See you there.
See you there. Oh, man. This is going to be quite the adventure.
Look, my goal is just to not sob for the entirety of 3 episodes.
Okay. That's a good
goal. And for the
you.
record, I cried in all of the books but 2. So 6 out of 8 books I cried in.
Okay. All right. Which were the 2 you didn't cry in?
Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight.
Okay. All right. So just the very first 2. All right.
But some people do cry in those too.
All right.
It just depends.
Well, come let us know if you cried.
Yeah, let us know if you cried.